the business has obviously been the journey in recent years, obviously with the rebrand and lots of other changes. Tell us a bit about what you've been building in the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, John, let me begin actually by taking it back a little bit. I think a lot is being made about the evolution of Ampersand's business and the innovation that we've been bringing to market in the near term. But I think it's really that evolution in the sort of as part of the DNA of the company, innovation. How do we bring change into the television ecosystem? Has really been part of the history of the organization, which I think is worth bringing to bear here in this conversation. If you look back at the history of the company, in the early days of our organization, nobody doubted the sound strategy of buying cable in a local marketplace. If you wanted to buy ESPN in a market like Chicago or Boston, nobody doubted the value of that inventory. But the complexity of accessing that inventory was such that the burden on the buy side, that strategy was clouded by executional costs. And so the organization, in its earliest incarnation, previously known as NCC Media, rationalized an irrational spot marketplace by bringing currency, consistent currency to the marketplace, by building interconnects, by building e-business commerce into the buy side, really rationalizing and streamlining what was once a very disconnected transaction. And in so doing, the organization, in partnership with our owners and our affiliate partners, built a business from what was at the time zero from a revenue standpoint to what is today a $6 billion business. So we were able to rationalize the local television marketplace and the local cable marketplace by building infrastructure and rationalizing that irrational environment. So when you talk about, John, what we're doing as we face the market moving forward, we're very much taking the same page out of that same playbook. How do we rationalize a fragmented marketplace that we encounter today? And so for us, a lot of the work that we're doing as we think about the future of TV is how do we think about aggregating audiences using richer data, more precise delivery, and better measurement in a multi-screen environment? How do we rationalize all of those disparate pieces and make that the sound strategy not overwhelmed by the sort of executional burden that such an opportunity might represent? So we're very much focused with our owner companies and our affiliate companies, thinking about how do we bring scale, how do we bring consistency, how do we bring simplicity to what is now today a fragmented TV landscape that is supported by richer data and more advanced measurement. So a lot of our work has been very much focused on building the infrastructure of the business that allows marketers to leverage this new landscape.
I really like the way you present it there, Andrew, because it really presents it as a continuity of what was always NCC and then Ampersand's mission to stitch together all of these different pools of inventory. And I'm guessing the change in the wider market that you've been responding to is that growth in multi-screen that you referred to.
Yeah, you know, I think if you take a step back and look at our mission overall as an organization, you know, I think we want to double down on the legacy strengths of TV. You know, TV has attributes that are unrivaled in the marketplace. And when we think about television, it's not so much a device on the wall as it is quality, professionally produced, brand safe, award-winning content, and that unique value proposition that content represents, in concert with a level of viewer engagement, an emotional connection that viewers have with that content, and the scale that comes with that audience, the ability to reach a significant slice of a target audience in a single execution. So we think TV has attributes and legacy strength that we want to, again, double down on. Content, scale, reach, and an emotional connection with the viewer. And for us, really the charge, I think, as we think about moving forward, is how do we not abandon that? How do we double down on that? But how do we think about layering in additional capabilities, more digital-like capabilities? There are plenty of pages in the digital playbook that we don't want to repeat, but I think there are certain areas in the digital environment that we can combine with TV's legacy strengths, such as better data, richer data, more precise targeting, more advanced measurement, and greater levels of accountability. So very much, John, what we're focused on is to think about how, and we talk about our tagline of moving TV forward, how do we think about taking the legacy value proposition of television and begin to layer on enhanced capabilities around data, targeting, and measurement solutions that allow us to compete more effectively in the marketplace moving forward. And for us, when we think about that, and obviously sort of an undercurrent of the ampersand brand identity is this notion of inclusion, of serving as the connective tissue in the marketplace. How do we serve up those solutions around data, targeting, and measurement across our owner and affiliate footprint in a consistent and rational and simplified manner? That's really the sort of DNA of what we're talking about as we think about moving TV forward and moving the organization forward.
And what's interesting to me about what you've said is that you're very much presenting this as an opportunity for an organization like Ampersand as much as a challenge. There's a chance to do something really new and different, as you say, bringing a set of new capabilities while preserving the tremendous legacy of television into the market.
Yep.
You've been talking also about adopting an audience-first approach recently. Why is this so important?
Well, you know, we think that if you look at the history of the television business for however long you want to go back, it's really been defined from an audience standpoint on an age gender basis, right? Adults 25 to 54, women 18 to 49, and measured by either a cost per point or a cost per thousand currency through traditional panel survey-based methodology in the marketplace. We don't think the future of TV is going to be planned on an age gender basis exclusively, not suggesting that age gender disappears entirely, but with the advent of richer data in the marketplace from a brand perspective and the ability to combine that brand data, either first party or third party data, the ability to combine that rich consumer data, brand data, with aggregated audience data across the affiliate and owner MVPD footprint. The ability to think about audiences much more narrowly than traditional age gender audience definitions, we think is going to accelerate in the marketplace. You're already seeing it now in many ways, certainly with the addressable marketplace, but we're also seeing it start to evolve into our core linear business. And, you know, traditionally, buyers would buy contextually in TV, give me news and give me sports. And for us, we're not suggesting that context is irrelevant. Context is certainly important and will always be important. But how do you begin to think about inventory sources that deliver the luxury auto intender or the frequent business traveler or whatever that particular audience segment might be, a credit card, gold card, credit card customer? And the ability to identify those audiences based on viewership data that may extend reach well beyond news and sports inventory. So the whole idea of, I think, planning and buying media will not stay rooted and tethered entirely to an age gender audience definition. I think the advent of richer data and the ability to deliver audiences more precisely and measure those audiences against particular brand outcomes is going to become the norm across all business lines. As I said, clearly we see it in the addressable business, and we also see it extending into our core linear business as well.